can actually destroy us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. How can it destroy us? I mean, it's a good thing out there. It's causing people to learn. We able to do our banking. We able to do all those things. Tell
True,
me, how is
true,
it going to
true.
destroy us?
The thing is, technology brings with it lots of benefits. I mean, you look at the invention of fire and how that has changed how we operate. Um, Metal, utensils and so forth. And I think a similar approach, we can look at the modern technology in terms of computers and so in the same sort of light. Initially, when they were thought up, when they were invented, it was about good, it was about connectivity, it was about making life easier and simpler. But with just about any tool, if it's not properly used, if it falls into the wrong hand, then you have problems. And I think that is what we're seeing now.
Okay.
Yes, the technology, it opens our children, ourselves up to this whole new world.
Okay.
You get to visit places that you otherwise would not be able to, whether it's through virtual reality, through your browser, what have you. And at the same time, the threats, the dangers are there. There was one thing Greg mentioned in the last program, about the street actually being home. He mentioned that. And this is something I think we need to be aware of.
Yeah.
All the dangers that before you got to lock out when the child walked into the house, unless
It's
whatever
actually
it actually comes in
inside.
now.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So basically, what we're saying is that no, I would go exercise, push-ups, all those things to take care of the physical. I go to church and I pray to take care of the spiritual.
Yeah.
I try to do some meditation,
Yeah.
the mental stuff. Now we have to add a different side to it, the virtual side, where I now have to practice some skills that will help me to navigate through this new realm successfully.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the things that parents must be aware of. It's a lot has changed, and just as how we teach children how to bathe themselves, how to wash their face and brush their teeth and so forth. In the school, we teach them about the parishes, and so just because our children now they're digital natives, it doesn't mean that they should not be guided as well. And there are rules, there are acceptable behaviors that we must instill in our children. I mean, we throw them under the umbrella of digital citizenship, digital literacy, but in reality, there are rules that people need to be aware of.
Okay, all right, good. We're online, Rebel Nation, together with the Lions Club of St. John's, bringing this program to the general public in Grenada and elsewhere throughout the world. And our main focus is on cyber parenting. We live on Facebook. We live on those of you who on the various chats. We have just sent out the link. Now, just go to the link and let's join in the conversation. You can also share your views online. You can write your comments and so on online, and your questions. We can take them and share it with Jervis, who will enlighten us on a lot of this. Anything you want to say, Virginia?
Right. So you said, Jarvis, that we need to teach them to become digital citizens. But then who needs to do that? Is it the parent? Is it the school? Who?
Well, the thing is, we've sort of gone away from the whole concept of it takes a village to raise a child. Back in the old days, if you pass a lady down the road, when I was living in Guava State, and you didn't say hi, there was no telephone back then, but when you got home, my grandmother would know that I didn't say hi. I had to go back. You had to go back and apologize and get it right. The whole village did that level of parenting, and I think the same thing applies here. In the school, there is a level of responsibility there. And when we say the school, not just the institution in and of itself, but everything that goes along with it. The church, the parents, yes, definitely. Parents, I mean, we are our children's first teachers, and we have to remember that. We can't get away from that. But I think it takes a collective effort. Policies on a countrywide level, everybody need to chip in because of how crazy it can get if we do not raise our children to be digitally smart,
Okay.
to be good digital citizens, to not just be users of the technology, but to be responsible users of the technology.
Now, I'm a parent and I don't have a clue about technology. How am I going to do that?
Okay, so oftentimes we look at what is before us and not all the other things that we can actually contribute to make the situation a better one. So we have issues now with cyberbullying. We have issues with hacking. We have a lot of oversharing and so happening online. These are things that you really do not want children being involved in. So, mommy, you're right now saying, "Hey, I get that, but I don't know anything about the technology." And I'm saying you do not need to be an expert to still help them navigate through this time. If you look at it like this, right? Cyberbullying, where a child or a group is saying unkind things to their peers online, being mean. You don't need to know about technology to instill the value that say you need to be nice.
Okay.
You need to be concerned about how your actions affect the other person. That's why we used to have courtesy week where you did the please and thank you and so in the school. That value, if we instill the value of not stealing,
So basically, you're saying that the old values, I say old,
they should underpin whatever happens
thank
with the
you.
technology
So the
right now.
discipline, the
Yes.
courtesy, and those things are important.
Yes.
Now, if as a parent you cannot instill or maintain these things in your home, definitely maintaining that for cyber security would be an issue, right?
You, Greg mentioned two things about that when he was here, right?
Okay.
He spoke about one, having to be parents and being parents. It doesn't matter what the technology is, and I think that is something that we can't get away from. We have to be parents. You don't need to be a boss footballer to go support the child when the child is playing football down the street. You go support, and that means something. And the other thing he mentioned, and he spoke several times about it, during the conversation, communication. You have to talk to the children. So again, it's about being involved. You don't need to know everything that is happening on the gadget. You could turn it into a learning experience. I learned how to download from YouTube from one of my daughters. I'm not going to say which one because it's a little embarrassing when I go and say, hey, a 6-year-old taught me how to do that. But it's you can do that. But I think for a lot of parents who are saying this is not for me, you need to change that. Don't be afraid of the technology. Don't be afraid of new things. Be your child's friend. But most importantly, understand you are the parent and you are responsible for protecting them just as you provide meals and so for them. And that protection is not just physical now. It extends into the virtual world as well.
So we want to establish something very early, that you have to be parent.
Yes.
You have to be parent. Do not be afraid to be a parent.
Yes.
Do not be afraid to be your child's friend.
Yes.
And those core values
Must be instilled.
Yes. And
Yes.
all that we do to support the cyber issues should be pinned down by communication,
Yes.
discipline, courtesy, and those kind of
Yes,
things. right?
those underlying values.
Great.
Yes.
Awesome. So that's a good place to just take a little break from sorry, I almost said Lion Jovis, right? You understand what I'm saying? Now, I just want to stop the conversation a bit on cyber and to recognize something. Right now, we have a problem in St. Vincent, and sometimes they say when your house is on, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you should wet yours. And the thing about it is, we all need each other. And right now, the people of St. Vincent is going through some difficulties, and we have faced a little bit of it with the ashes falling on our vehicles, on our homes, and so on. But they are in need of our help. And the Lions Club of St. John's is a service organization, and we try to provide service wherever the need is most. And for us in St. John's, what are we doing with regards to that?
Right. Right. So presently, as a club, and even reaching out to you, community members, we are seeking to make donations of water. So if you wish to contribute to donate a case or two of water, then you can get in contact with us so that we can do so. We are hoping to send our first batch of water up on Friday, please God. So if you can, then please contact any one of the members of the Lions Club. We have Lion Gloria Bonaparte, Lion David Hopkin, you have Lion Virginia Alexis, yours truly, Lion Mary Alma Dubois, and the list can go on. So you just reach out to any one of us. Secondly, we are coming to you as well because we will want to meet some of the other needs that the people of St. Vincent have. And one of those needs is they are in need of toiletries, cleaning supplies, right? They also need sleeping mats. So anything that you can donate or contribute. Let's think about the children also, right? The kids who have been home since December, who have not seen inside of a classroom and were looking forward to going back to school yesterday, Monday, 12th of April, and due to what is happening presently, they are unable, so they are stuck at home again, right? So if you have any books, children books, games, toys that you wish to again contribute to donate, reach out to us and we will surely get it to them. Okay. So just reach out.
Right. I just want to highlight something. Last night, the Lions Club of St. John's held its meeting at the Fish Market Conference Room. And to date, we raised from the membership 40 cases of water. And the club, through its funds, will match that up. So on Friday, we are sending to St. Vincent just from St. John's. And if anybody wants to join us, we are sending approximately 80 cases of water to St. Vincent. And if you wish to help in that respect, you can contact any member of the Lions Club. You can go on our Facebook page, message us. You can if you know any member of the Lions Club, you can do that. The contact person with regards to this, as Lion Virginia said, is Lion Gloria Bonaparte. She's from the Lions here, and she can help with that. We went on to say that there are some other things that is needed. Cleaning stuff like bleach and washing liquid and soap and so on. That will be our second project in terms of donation to the people of St. Vincent. So we'll be coming to you asking you for bottles of bleach, soap powder and those things so that we can put that together so that they can clean, along with tin stuff for food items. But we're looking for those that are in the tin because of it can be shipped properly without being damaged and so on. Then our third focus would be on the children. We're going to do what you call children care packages. In there, we'll have books, we'll have toys, we'll have games, and little things to keep them occupied. Now, the Lions Club of St. John is not alone in this effort. Which other clubs are involved in this?
So all the Lions and Leo clubs within Grenada, the state of Grenada, are involved in this drive, right? So here we have a flyer that says Grenada Lions and Leos clubs invites the general public, volcanic relief, support our relief efforts for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Right, so reach any one of the Lions, as we said, whether it's in St. George's, in St. Andrews, or St. John's, right? And we need sleeping mats, mattresses, generators, folding cots, hygiene kits, 5-gallon buckets, water, and food, or any other donation will be greatly appreciated. Okay, so just reach out to any of the members of the clubs of Leo's or Lions clubs within St. George's, St. Andrew, and St. John's.
Okay, thank you very much, Lion Virginia. And this is Rebel Nation Radio, right? Yeah, Our Nation, right here in Guelph. And partnering with them is the Lions Club of St. John's. And we're talking about cyber parenting. And with us in our studios, we have Jarvis Dabro, gentleman who is very much into the whole cyber side of life now. And I must say the cyber side of life, because when I did my studies overseas, one of my professors, he said, you can actually have a life inside there. Literally buy anything you want, build your own house, and just live there comfortably. All right? But you can also die there too, right? The same thing happened locally in the physical world can also happen in the
Yeah,
virtual world
yeah.
as well. All right, so we ended the first part of the conversation looking at basic parenting, that parents would have to be parents.
Yes.
And you do that by instilling those core values, communication, discipline, and so on. Now, let's move a step further into that. What do you think is some of the another of the most important element that parents should be concerned about when dealing with the whole issue of cyber navigating?
Well, in addition to the threats and so, and I'm sounding like a broken record when I keep referencing
Yeah.
a lot of what Greg said. But the reality is, he gave good advice when he was on here the last time. In addition to all the other little things, it is very important that, as I said before, parents, that you're involved in them, in whatever happened. With your children, I normally say wherever your children are, you should be as well. Yes, respect their privacy, but you need to know what is going on there. All right, look for behavioral changes and so with your children. But I think one of the things that's important as well is looking out for the physical aspect of their being as far as the interaction with the technology is concerned. So you mentioned, you can build your house in there, you can live in there, yes. And I'm hearing somewhere in the back of my mind, you need to be careful with this because we're looking at probably addiction right there. We need to be aware of that. You can't have the children on the devices for hours and hours. The devices now, it's not like the TV of yesteryear. You just plop the child down in front of the TV and the TV did the babysitting. Now there is a world of issues and problems that you're exposing the child to when you just hand them the device. So you need to be aware of that. So, look at how much time they spend on the device. Ensure that they get the physical activity in, ensure that there is a balance between the technology and the real world thing. Funny story. During the lockdown, my daughter, the little one, she had to do an assignment.
Okay.
And she completed the assignment, and my wife went to check it after, and she found, the answers just did not match her, that those could not be her answers. So my wife asked, well, what's up with this? Where did you get those answers? What? And long story short, Alexa gave her all the answers.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
in doing that, what she did was cut out the creativity part of her. The looking at the question, internalizing it, interpreting it, and coming up with your own answers and so forth. And I think parents need to ensure that if it's an agriculture assignment, the child need to go outside, dig a hole, put the seed in. They need to. You still need to strike that sort of balance. And I think if that does not happen, then we're going to be in some serious problems.
Right. So, second point has to do with striking the balance.
You must strike a
Striking
balance.
the balance. And part of that is the issue of time management.
Yes.
Again, coming in, you have to manage
Yes.
your time, And one of the things I like of what you said is that of the subjects or the topics that are practical, let them be practical.
Has to
Don't
stay practical.
stunt the creativity. You know what I mean? Go outside and plant the corn. Go
Yeah.
outside and do whatever is needed to learn that important concept. Yes, you can look at a YouTube video and see that. Fine. Okay, let's talk about it first before you actually get onto the computer and review that. You understand? Because but Jarvis, the problem is these parents, do they have the strength to really get those children to do that?
Would we say strength or patience, tolerance to do that? I think in some cases it's not so much the strength, but I think it's the patience, the understanding, and the tolerance to be able to deal with this uncharted, world that we have entered into.
True.
Right? Because even on the side of the students, it can be frustrating.
It
On the
is,
side
it
of the
is.
child, it can be
Yeah.
frustrating, because I had an experience just today, the second day of school, and I said, okay, I'm going to post something online, and the child was like, Miss, but everything is online, 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 and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, so there is frustration. But I said, okay, you know what? There is where we are going. It is not going to just stop because we are getting back to normal,
Yeah.
So then, just as how the parents are frustrated, the children themselves find themselves in a frustrating situation. And how do we then just strike that balance there? What
And I-
can we do?
I think that is where the whole village raising the child comes in, yeah. Because I think we've looked at how we can reach the children. So they're home. How do we get the content to them? We throw it online on whatever platform the school is using, and we figure, you know what, that's it. My job is done. Not looking at the other side of it. That child may be a bit frustrated. Not everybody learn well in the virtual space. There are children who do better when they get the book. And I think for parents and for teachers, administrators, this is something that you need to be aware of. One size does not fit everybody when it comes to that. If the child say, hey, I would prefer if we just, I got a practical something, then if that can be, added in there, by all means add that in for the child, because you want to reach. I mean, you have children who are visual.
Yes.
All right, you have the children who are tactile. They need to touch, they need to do. When you send everything virtual, some of them you're throwing them behind because you're not reaching them in that space. And I think we need to be aware of that as well. So mommy and daddy, while I am advising that you be involved, be part of the conversation, especially now with how the children have to, do their studies and so forth. At the same time, let common sense prevail. You'd be surprised. I'm a big technology buff, but there are times during the lockdown when I looked at my daughters and I had to say, listen, I don't care what the teachers say. You're going to take a break right now. Go outside, grab something to eat, just go outside. Go dirty your clothes, do something like that. That right there, I think, is good parenting. You have to, know your child. And I think that will help, because on the digital wellness side of the conversation, you do not want to, sort of put yourself in a position where you have to spend a whole heap of money because you didn't parent. You now need to consider eyeglasses, and the child have neck strain and whatever the issues are, simply because you did not look at what was happening. Some children, we say, yes, the grades may have gone up, and I question whether or not the learning went up, because it's easy to Google stuff and so, and that is where, again, communication, talking to them comes into the picture.
All right. Jervis, in Jamaica, right? I'm just pulling up the article online. This minister, I think he's, I'm not sure, he's a minister, and one of the things he said is that the present COVID-19 situation, which has caused the impact of online learning, is affecting boys more than girls. And because of that, the boys that are finding themselves navigating in the online and studying at home are looked at as girly and things like that, and the boy. So while we asking for the balance, right? We have now the boys are using the opportunity now to stay outside, and as a result, they are being disadvantaged because of the consistent sitting. Because generally, boys, we like to be doing stuff.
Yes.
Right. So, I
All
brought
right.
this
So,
up.
so one of the things that the technology affords us is the ability to learn at your own pace, right? You can go back. You can process the stuff, interact with the content at your own pace, at your own speed. And what I haven't heard much of in that conversation is the simple word discipline. You have to have the discipline of actually engaging with it. Now, I mean, it would be foolhardy of us to be here tonight saying, boys get the same level of attention across the board. That doesn't happen. Boys are normally told we have to be boys. You know, you go out, you play, what have you. The girls tend to have to behave themselves, come do the assignment and so. And it might not be the right thing, you know, across the board, because I'm kind of washing everybody in one water. But that is a sort of snapshot of what is happening. So you have the boys who now have the content coming to them. They're not sitting in a classroom where the teacher can say, hey, you, John, listen up, pay attention. You know what? Come to the front of the class. Sit right here. Come. You're gonna co-teach with me. You know, and that would sort of help. But now when the content goes to that child and mommy and daddy, you're not parenting because you're not being involved in it. The child might be playing a game when they should be, you know, reading something or so. And this is where communication, being involved, comes in. But the discipline, we have to ensure that the children, I think Greg mentioned it as scheduling. I prefer to look at it as just discipline. The discipline to know this is the time to engage with my math assignment. This is the time now to go out and play. This is the time to hand in the report, what have you. We need to get to a place where that happens. And I think, you know, because of how quickly the technology was thrust upon us, we haven't taken enough time to help those who were not quite ready for that as far as their discipline was concerned.
So you mentioned time management, you mentioned discipline, right? Now, yes, they all sound very nice. But what about that parent, that guardian, that does not have the time, right? Because their schedule, they have a tight schedule as well. So they have no time to really sit and say, okay, yes, David, you actually spent 2 hours on your device today. Very good. Or you should not spend more than 3 hours on your device. What about that parent who can't monitor that, who cannot supervise that action?
So let me tell you a secret. Hopefully the people on the live right now and those who would watch it after would not hear this part of it. People bring different devices for me to check, you know, for them as a technician. And they sort of expect you to know how to fix it for them every time. What they do not know in the background is the amount of help I get from other bodies. You know, I Google it. There are times I might call a technician friend of mine, hey, I have a problem here. This one is beating me. This is what it's doing. What you think is going on here? And I think we need to get to that place where if we need help, ask for help. You know, one of the things I saw, and it's come up, it has come up several different times over the last few months. People asking, what tools can I use to help my children? Okay. And in some cases, the response, it tends to be similar. You know, if you can't do it yourself, just ask somebody. There is a very good chance that somebody out there is willing to help. But, you know, unless you get to the point where you recognize there is a problem and you need some assistance, you may not get that assistance. And I think that is my advice to parents. You know, you do not have to be a scientist to be able to help your child with the science project. Sometimes all you need to do is just be the one who pick up the phone and say, hey, Virginia, I have a little issue here. I need for you to just help me out a little bit. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah. but you know, before, right, the older persons, like, not like me, older, like, their parents didn't know anything, right? Not because my beard is gray, right? I mean, I'm as young as the DJs in here. You know?
Yeah, well, I heard when Mr. Killer actually said, you guys from the same, you know, generation. And
yes.
I was like, okay, so Killer, look at my beard. He looked at your beard, and he automatically put us in the same
bracket. Right, understand. Well, I'm saying the parents long ago, they didn't know anything, but they maintained the discipline.
Yeah.
You sit down for a certain amount of time, do your schoolwork and so on. One of the things I've been thinking about, Jarvis, is that balancing thing, right? And it's not just balancing at home, but also balancing in school.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you a question on that, too. You mentioned if parents have problems doing those things, can they go? I know you're not here as an from education, and I want to make this clear. He's not from the Ministry of Education tonight.
Yes.
He's someone from the community we got to come on the show to share with us. But don't you think there's a need for a hotline or a help desk in the Ministry of Education that can be operating 24 hours, that parents can call and get someone to help them either with the basic technology or to get some assistance with their child?
Yeah.
And some, do we have, well, as I said,
But
do we have that?
The thing is, I am a techie. My daughters, I think they would love hearing me say that they're techies as well. But it gets frustrating sometimes for me. You know, having to deal with them and all that is thrown at them. So I can only imagine how frustrating it can be for parents who are very busy, who do not have that skill set and so I do believe we have not been deliberate enough in terms of lending support to our people, especially with all the devices and technology we're just throwing at them, you know, and hopefully somebody is listening who has the power to actually make a change. So let's not just support them in giving a device, but let's do a little bit more on the educating side, on the supporting side. And even if we can't have that one number that they call to get access 24/7, I think we can put a support system in place where persons can reach out. And those who are listening, those who are watching right now, those who will watch or listen after, I mean, you can reach out. I can be a bit busy sometimes, but you know, I have no problem helping, even on the community level. You want me to just come in and let's go through this specific thing, you know, and we can do that. Yeah. I do not want to, you know, throw Greg under the bus here, but with me stealing so much from what he said when he was here, you know, I don't think he's going to say no either.
Yeah. Well, actually, he did offer himself too, yeah.
Right, but to add, not just a helpline, but what about us doing community outreach programs where maybe we use community centers, the schools, right? And we have persons like yourself or the IT teachers actually having sessions with parents, you know, to guide them into the basics, to navigating the tablets or the cell phones themselves, the laptops, you know, just doing basic things, you know, so that they could actually get to understand and they're able to manage and even help that child who will need help at some point in time.
Yeah. You know what came to my mind while Virginia making that point? I don't know what term to put in front, but a caravan that is moving through the country at certain times in the day, in the evening, to every community, and our main focus is supporting parents and communities with regards to technology. And it could be powered by Lime, it could be powered by Digicel, it could be powered by Rebel Nation, you never know, right? So what's about a tech caravan?
All right, so because I'm here in my capacity just as a parent, as an old Guava boy, let me say that, you know, you mentioned earlier the drive for St. Vincent, you know, and us reaching out to them there. And, you know, going through social media, I see a lot of people saying my thoughts and prayers are with the people of St. Vincent. And my thing is, what good is that? I need a bottle of water. What good is thought and prayers? You know, I need to see the physical thing. And I think, you know, just doing a couple of videos and showing it.
Give the water, right?
Yes, give the water. and be prepared to give more. Remember, I mean, St. Vincent did help us out before, and should we find ourselves in a similar situation, or maybe a different situation that calls for that level of support, means, right? You know, we want our people to reach out to us. But I think that is something that we need to be aware of. You know, there are people who they would watch a video, but it doesn't hit home as much as when you bring them, as Virginia say, in a community center, in some space, and you actually show them how to do it. And I think that is something that, you know, we really need to consider. I know there are some entities out there that is doing a bit. Well, you've been doing a bit over the period. Within Guav, I know Grencoda, they have been doing quite a bit as well. I would imagine some of the other bodies within the area have been helping. But I think we need to do something, yes, as you said, from that higher
high
level.
level, yeah.
And not just for parents, but even for teachers.
Yeah,
Teachers need support,
as well,
they need
as
support
well.
as well.
Yeah, I want to expound a bit on the help desk. We can use, we have students at SGU studying technology. We have at TAMCC, we have persons who are out there. Maybe we could pay them based on the amount of calls they would have gotten for the month, where parents or anybody can call the line and you get somebody, and the calls could be recorded so you can go back and check to maintain security and everything like that. Because I'm sure there are parents out there who need help and they don't know where to go. I mean, they know this man Jarvis on the TV sometime, they but I mean, they should have other persons to call and get some help.
And I would say maybe even consider local people.
Yeah.
So if you can get, maybe, as you said, that caravan, but in addition to the call, you have persons based within the community who can provide that level of support. Because if we enter another lockdown,
Yeah.
I don't think what happened before, we're going to have it happen like this. Some people are just going to throw up their hands and say, hey, listen, I survived teaching my child for the last 10 months. I can't do it again. And I mean, the funny thing is, I taught for 13 years at SAS.
Okay.
And the most frustrating period in my teaching career was when I was home with my two daughters. And my wife, at that time, my wife used to say, hey, you have to help as well, It was
right.
just so frustrating.
So we want to give it up for all the teachers out there, right?
Definitely.
Give it up for all the
Definitely,
teachers.
definitely.
I mean, who they themselves are getting used to the technology.
Yes.
I mean, it was thrown at them abruptly through the COVID, but we know that eventually it would have come.
Yeah.
Maybe it came on us very quickly.
The good thing about teachers, we're able to adapt. And I think most teachers are able to adapt really quick once they have the support.
Yes.
And I think we need to give parents the same level of support.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. And don't be too hard on the parents when they can't get certain things done. We have to find ways to partner with them. And that's where I want to move the conversation a bit. How do you think the local school can support parents with regards to the online learning? I'm not going to the Ministry of Education now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I have students in my grade 3 class. How can the teacher and the parent work together to foster that good?
Well, I like that you said, how can they work together? Because part, I think, of the problem right now is parents are not partnering with the teachers and with the school. A child does something wrong, the teacher, the school try to correct them, and the teacher take a bag of stones and go to the school to stone the teacher. The parent take a bag of stone, goes to the school to stone the teacher. That's not partnership. So I think the parents who have good conversations with the teachers, they tend to achieve a bit more. But you definitely need to have that partnership happening between all the different bodies.
Okay, yeah. We just checking online to see if we're getting any questions or comments from those listening out there. We are aware that many persons are listening all over the place, all over Grenada and so on, and throughout the world. But we want you to send in your comments and questions so that we can share some of it. Let's see what's going on there. Okay. We have. Let's go to the chat. Let's start from the top. We see question. What advice would you give to parents who aren't IT savvy in these times?
Don't try to compete with those who are tech savvy. Parent your child on the simplest level. Support them. As I said earlier, you do not need to be a techie or whiz with the gadget to just be there to listen. John, what's the problem you're having? How can I help? Do you understand what the question is? All right, let's figure this together. You know, that sort of simple parenting can help. The values, the virtues, and so that is going to help with a lot of the threats and cyber crimes and so that we face. But I think it is very, very, very important, parents, that you do not compete or compare yourself with the other parents who may know a little bit more. You know, get support from them and try to grow as well. It's the same reason why we say don't compare your children.
So we're saying one of the strategies to deal with the savviness of
Yeah.
the technology is collaboration.
You have to collaborate,
You have
but
to
don't be too hard on yourself
Yeah,
because you do not know what DNS is and you're not sure what
matter of fact, you don't have to
antivirus-
learn all the terms
No,
anyway. You don't have to
no,
learn all
no.
that.
And I think the other thing is the children, they're able to pick it up really, really fast. So it can be a learning, bonding experience for the both of you. You're actually helping them with the values and so ensuring that the assignment gets done on time. It look decent. If you're one that's able to read through it and it makes sense, you can do that. But in terms of bolding and the formatting, they'll be able to do that. Just guide them through the process.
You know, as you say that, it brings me back to your example with your daughter, where you said, she did the work, and when your wife checked it, she realized, no, this does not sound like you. And it's the same thing,
Yeah.
if we sit with them, we know already who they are.
Yeah.
We know the kind of work that they will put out.
Yeah.
So just by reading,
Yeah.
we can say, okay, well, David, this doesn't really sound like you.
Yeah.
Let's change it up a little bit. Let's read it over. Did you understand what
Yeah.
you read? So it's all that communication. I think
Yeah.
it's that big umbrella that we have to look at. Not just, yes, we sit in, but not just to ensure that, okay, they do not play a game, but they complete their assignment.
Yeah.
But we communicate, and then, as you said, we bond.
Yeah.
Because then we're learning, and then again, because they learn about technology so quickly, then we can use that opportunity to learn ourselves.
Yeah.
And catch up with, at least try to catch up with the parents who are already higher than us.
And and the interesting thing about that is, I found it. I remember how much of a big thing it was when the little one actually showed me how to download the YouTube video, because she taught daddy how to do it. They're gonna have fun, actually
Exactly.
helping you
And it
through
boosts their
this.
self-esteem
Of
as
course,
well,
of course.
Lan, Virginia is quite right when she bring out the issue of the teaching moments within the family. And as teachers, there are times when we met concepts that we've never seen before, and we had to teach ourselves. And even by teaching it, we learn.
Yeah.
Even more than what we would have even learned from our own
Yeah.
school days. And I think being able to allow your child to teach you,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome experience in itself.
It's a humbling experience, but
Definitely,
it's going to be worth it.
Right, yeah.
But I often tend to say, you're never too old to learn.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who you're learning from, as long as you actually
Yeah.
understanding the concept of whatever, the idea. Because, I mean, I'll say it, maybe she will eventually call me and say, why did you say that on the radio? But my daughter taught my mom how to use a tablet,
Yeah.
how to play games. Eventually, when they were playing the game against each other, my daughter used to get upset. And she was just like 4, She used to get upset because, oh, Granny is beating me in the game, But you do it because then she bonded
Yeah.
with her grandmother during that time, and
Yeah.
she was just like 4, toddler, So we have all these experiences, and then we can speak about it and laugh.
Yeah.
So we go back online and see what's happening there. This is Rebel Nation together with the Lions Club of St. John's. We have 2 questions, Jarvis.
Let's go to the comment first. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I want to
As long
tease
as
him
the
with this.
comment is not Greg saying he's going to send me a bill for quoting him so many times
Well,
this evening.
I think he should be. Right. So we have someone that says gadgets are modern day pacifiers. Do you agree with this statement?
They are often used as modern day pacifiers, which is dangerous because I mentioned earlier, just as before the TV was used as a babysitter,
Yeah.
you can't do it now. The threats and so that is within those gadgets. It's on another level. So I mean, I've seen it where a baby 2, 3 is misbehaving and mommy just takes the phone and I'm thinking, hey, there's so many things wrong with that,
Yes. And I think we can follow up with that. The person is asking this question. How can we keep out the hackers from our accounts?
How can we keep the hackers out of our accounts? Well, there there are two things here. One, strong passwords, passcodes, two-factor authentication.
Yeah, we spoke about that
Yeah.
last time too.
So it's like this, right? If you want to secure your account, you'll have to give up a bit of convenience.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to secure the account, you can't have the same password for all your accounts. You need to have some strong passwords. I suggest you use passphrases. Put some spaces in there. This is my very strong password with a full stop in the end.
Okay.
Is a very, very, very strong password. And then you turn on two-factor authentication. So when you put in your password, you need to complete another step, whether you need to get a code from your phone, or some other app that gives you a code. That way, if the hacker gets your password, they still have to compete with the second layer of that other authenticating factor. Yeah.
Right. So we have another question. Is there any way parents can learn on their own? For example, are there any apps or sites they can visit to teach themselves?
I would send that parent to the same university I visit ever so often. And again, you see, the thing is, people think that we techie people, we know everything. You'd be surprised how many things I just go to University of YouTube and I type in and you get these short videos and so. And normally if it's something for the girls, then I normally do it where they do not see me doing it.
Okay.
So I kind of get the information and then you bring it across. But YouTube, the reason why I'm saying YouTube, one, it's free, and two, you can get a more targeted sort of answer to your problem. If I told you, check Udemy or one of those universities that offer free courses and so, the thing is, you'll have to sit through extended periods of training and learning what have you. But when you go to YouTube, and the issue here is, how do I secure my Wi-Fi router at home? A good one, parents. How do I block pornography on my child's devices? Or how do I block pornography within my household? Now, if you Google that, there are several videos that would pop.
Okay.
And now you can decide, all right, I don't like how this guy sung. She's a little too nasal for me. This one, it's just right.
Okay.
Straight from the University of YouTube in 5 minutes. And the good thing is they oftentimes will show you. So you can go through the step-by-step process. The thing is, I think we've grown a little lazy, even though we have all the information at our disposal.
They use a lot of the YouTube.
Yes,
they're
but for the
watching,
wrong thing.
African movies and all those things, right? YouTube, some of those ideas as to how to manage certain sites, how to do some, and learn that. What was interesting for me when I worked at St. Patrick's, there was this guy who I wanted to get the children to do their school song, so record it, and so when we have assemblies, I could just play it on the PA system and so on. So I went with about 5 children in my car to the studio. When I went somewhere in La Fortune, there was this little wooden hut, like a little kitchen. We grew up with a little kitchen outside. When I went to that place, man, the gadgets there were amazing. So I asked the guy, where did you learn to do all this thing? Man, it's African, I learned it on YouTube, boy. You know that? And you look at those guys here, even at Rebel Nation, and the skills that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you can learn a lot from the YouTube. It's not all bad, you know,
Yeah.
that some people feel. Yeah?
I want to give one expert advice to everybody who listening, watching, and who will listen or watch after. If you forget everything I say this evening, do not forget this. Every time you go on YouTube, ensure that when you come off YouTube, you know something you did not know before. So you know something, you have some information, you've acquired some bit of knowledge that you did not have before. And no, not twerking, no, not a new way to whine, or no, but something that you did not know before. Even if it's, you know, that it's wrong to say donkey ears because turtle live longer than donkey. So you say turtle ears. My daughter taught me that one.
Okay.
But learn something new. The do-it-yourself ideas for home decoration. So many other craft ideas, and so I know a lot of people they're unemployed now because of, you know, what COVID-19 has done. But there are, you know, little things you can reskill, upskill, you can retool yourself from the University of YouTube.
So can you be uploading or downloading when you go to the university?
Well, when I go to the University of YouTube, I'm a greedy person. So I do a lot of downloading. I get information from there. I mean, I have a YouTube channel. I think there is 1 or 2 videos on there. Normally, if you see me on video, it's because somebody have me, you know, facing the camera. But you know, don't be too shy to go on there and learn stuff.
Someone is saying facts about YouTube. You're doing well with that. We have some other comments here. One person wants to know, how can I connect my child's devices to my device so that I can control?
All right. So
see the conversation. Kind of. That's invading privacy, right?
Right, I was coming to that.
Right.
Privacy, but then how much privacy can a child have?
Well, you see, that is a ticklish thing. I think it boils down. I'm going back to what Greg said. I mean, we did disagree on one thing, even though I wasn't here. I think we need to be careful about sending them in their bedroom in any private space with their devices and so. I think we need to be very careful about that. But outside of that. We have to respect their privacy, understanding we have a responsibility to protect them. So how far is going too far? I think if the child is old enough to have a Facebook account, you should be the child's friend on there. But you should not be the person who is commenting under everything and letting everybody know that you're mommy or daddy. No, that's not very nice. Should you be looking at all their WhatsApp conversation and so forth? I think if the child is a child, then again, as part of the parenting thing,
if a child is a child,
because my mother still look at me as her child. I would always be her child. But I am not a child. you get where I'm coming from? I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So if the child is a child, if the child is legally a child, all right, a minor, then you have to understand that what some children will see as fun. You know, the grooming, the inappropriate conversations, the videos that really should not be sent to them. And we've had instances of that in Grenada where people got charged under the Electronic Crimes Act. The child may not see anything wrong with that, you know, because they have access to something that they think is fun, it's okay, it's grown up. With you being part of the conversation, with you being able to look at what is going on, you can help protect them. Because one of the things that we need to be aware of as parents is not only do we need to protect our children from all the bad actors out there, but we need to protect them from themselves as well. All right? The child would want to stay up and watch TV all night, well into the early morning, but you have to control that. So what do I use? I use Google Family Link. Now,
and Virginia uses that as well,
yes. Now, and I highly recommend it. That's Google Family Link, FAMILYLINK. It requires 2 apps. That's if you're using Android, one goes on your phone or your tablet, one goes on the child's device. And it allows you to do quite a few things. One, you can schedule screen on time, so you can say how long they get to interact with the device. My daughter isn't too happy. I think she's at 2 hours right now. You get to say what apps they use, so you can schedule what app they use as well. So if it's a school night, then you may not want them, being on, whatever game. TikTok. Well, TikTok is, in and of itself, an adult platform.
Okay.
Because of the adult content on there. There are very good content.
I've never been on TikTok.
So I would
don't
say
even- I don't even know.
if a parent think it's okay for their child to be on there, then you must have a conversation about appropriate and inappropriate content. So my daughter only got on there a few weeks ago after that conversation. And of course, with the monitoring, if she steps out, she's going to lose access to it. And the good thing about the app is you do not need to be physically there where the device is to sort of control certain things. But again, you need to have a conversation with them. I did mention the pornography issue. I know that is one that parents, they ask quite a bit about. There are things that you can do, but again, if I had to give a very simple solution, it's going to call for some level of communication as well. There is an app called Clean Browsing.
Okay.
Clean
think
Browsing.
Greg also mentioned some of that last
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah. So on the technical level, we would manipulate the DNS on there to make sure it redirects to it, so they do not know in the background that they're being, or you filter it at home, what have you. But on the device, you can do clean browsing on Android. iOS have a lot of features built in to protect children. It's one of the reasons why, and I'm telling you guys out there, the tablet favored by my household, it's Kindles.
Okay.
From Amazon, because you have quite a bit of
Books
control
and
in terms of
control.
what you can do there, and it's not as expensive as an iPad.
We have a debate going on online right now, right? There's a debate going on. The debate is that children should not have privacy.
They need to be audited.
All right, so if we're using audited, and we're not just saying they should be left alone, I can work with that. Because the idea behind audited means that you're not being too intrusive or too invasive. I'm okay with that. Because even if we leave that out, you still want to see what is going on. As I say, an inappropriate conversation may easily be seen by that child as being okay. Even when laws are being broken, it's like why we teach our children about appropriate touch and inappropriate touch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let me say this, that parents, you want your children to be able to self-regulate. You also want them to be responsible. So whether you're auditing, whether you're saying I am just going to, not give them complete privacy, whichever way you want to go with that, potato. I don't think anybody say potato. Whichever way you go with that, the bottom line is you want them ultimately to be able to handle themselves responsibly even when you're not there. If the app fails, if Family Link stop working, you still want them to know it's bedtime.
Okay.
I should not be on here anymore. That video is wrong.
So one person is saying that in line with the privacy, apps like not apps but and they maintain no privacy, right? No, absolutely no privacy.
I have to go back after and see who is.
No privacy. But they're making the point that, and I think it links to some of those social media platforms. No, they should have no privacy on Facebook or
TikTok.
Instagram or
Yeah.
TikTok and so on.
I don't think it's that, maybe they should have no TikTok, no Facebook, or no Instagram. So
Right, and that's why I said TikTok is these are not sites that are built to be children friendly. So someone asked me about a month ago if my little daughter has a phone, and she's what? She's 9 now, and the answer was no, she doesn't. And they was like, why not? And I'm like, no, she's not going to have a phone for a while. Because, you know, you need to ensure that quite a few other little pieces are there in place before. My big daughter, she has lost her phone, and then she got it back and, you know, had it removed and so forth. Because you want to get them to a place where they, as I said, can self-regulate, but where they can also be responsible. Now, for the people, because some people also say, hey, then you don't, the children should not have the internet access and so forth. But I have a serious problem with that, because how are they to grow to be able to navigate the digital space without being exposed to it?
Yeah.
You know, that is why you have to guide them. With the digital currency that is coming on, eventually everybody is going to be shopping online in some. They have to learn how to, you know, protect
responsibly.
Precisely.
Yeah, and this person is saying that what children need is to be protected, not privacy.
Part of the protection is about respecting their right to privacy, but understanding that the protection you have to give them cannot suffer because there is a right to privacy.
Okay, all right, okay, good point.
You have to balance it.
Yeah, you have to.
And I would say if you're going to, you know, balance it, but err on the side of protection.
Protection.
So you're balancing it a little off. You know, protection gets the bigger half.
Yes. You're listening to Our Nation, and this is the Lions Club of St. John's bringing to you cyber parenting. And with us we have Mr. Jarvis Dabro,
Teacher and IT.
You said parent tonight.
Parent tonight, yes.
Parent.
Right, and we've been having that conversation on the whole issue of cyber parenting, and we have explored a number of tools and things that parents can do in order to ensure that the children get the best out of the technology. Notice what I said, get the best out of it, because sometimes we focus so much on the negative things that it can do, rather than looking at some of the positive things. So I want to go into the conversation a bit. Let's look at some of the positive things parents can get out of the whole technology with their children.
You're looking at global citizens now. You're looking at children who have, and I remember Greg mentioned that he's really going to send me a big bill. He mentioned, you know, and I've had that discussion with my wife as well. Some of the things the girls know now, we didn't know that until we were grown. You know, that's one of the positives right there. You get to see your children being exposed to so much information. So they know so much. They can do so much if they use the tools rightly. I think that is one of the positives. Knowing that if you guide them properly, your child is going to be able to compete on a global scale. You know, because they're now exposed to the same sort of tools and technologies that the people in the first world countries they have. But again, it's responsible use and ensuring that they balance that with the soft skills, and they do not self-destruct before they get to the point where they can make use of the opportunity. And then just generally information sharing. I don't have to buy what's in the boutique anymore, you know. I can even be sized online.
Exactly.
The technology has allowed us to do that. We're able to attend, you know, I had a webinar I attended this morning. I woke up 5 o'clock for it. Just personal thing, because today is Identity Management Day, and there was this forum in Africa, and I attended that. And, you know, otherwise I would not have been able to. So as parents, you're able to get information and be part of, you know, conversations that are outside of your space. The ease of doing business in some instances as well. COVID kind of forced that on us.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Some people would not agree with that, because now when you tell the police, listen, I have my license home, they ask you, do you have your ID, and then they check and realize, no, you didn't pay. So that's not, some people would not like that, but the ease of doing business, online banking, these are positives.
For me, I don't go to the bank unless it's absolutely necessary, physically. I literally pay all my bills, everything is online. I monitor my accounts and so on. and that is just the ease of doing business. And
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more coming on stream in Grenada here
Yeah.
with you guys. Even the small shops, I think eventually you have to get one of those Android machines
true,
to
true.
take payment as well, you know, and get direct deposit.
Now,
and
as you mentioned that, I just want to throw this in there, especially for the parents, those looking on who do shop online. If you have an option between using your debit card and your credit card, you know, go for your credit card.
yeah.
Yeah, when you use the credit card, you're using the bank money. They'll go after whoever is trying to steal their money.
Exactly.
But when it's your debit card,
They
you know,
don't- they don't go
that's
after
your
it.
money,
Yeah.
unless
You're right.
you have an account that is set up
Yes.
with limited funds just for
for
that.
that.
So,
Just
and these are things that our children need to be aware of as well.
Yeah, actually, I have a friend who paid a company from the debit card, and then realized that the company was a real hoax, right? And now we're trying to find the company,
Yeah.
and the bank is not so much interested.
It's your
well,
money.
I shouldn't say they're not interested. They're gonna try to go as much as they can.
Yeah.
But if it was a credit card, I think the vigilance would be much.
They
greater.
would raise
Yeah,
hell to
yeah,
get their money
that,
to get their
that.
money back. See, digital citizenship.
Yeah,
you know?
again. And all the ID cards and all those things that we have eventually would be all digital and so on.
Well, our passport
Yeah.
is already well on
Yeah.
its way to being
I
there.
hope we don't get the issue of the saying the mark of the beast now, you know. We have that conversation too.
Let's not open that can.
No, we don't want to open that.
Let's
We don't-
not.
we don't
and
want to
anybody
open-
comment that we're
We're not
just
going
going
to
to
that.
skip over that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But someone is saying the whole issue of, but you did mention the issue of cyberbullying.
Yeah.
And how parents as well as
Yeah.
children can protect themselves. But I want to zero in on a point on cyberbullying, because the same values that we establish with our children, as you mentioned, and
Yeah.
you and Greg did the same thing last week on the streets. The same restraint and the same discipline should be exercised on the
Yeah.
online as well. You don't just go show yourself to everybody
Yeah.
who ask you to show themselves.
Yeah.
You have to be careful about that. Just quickly tell us a bit about.
The thing with cyberbullying is, again, you have to be part of the conversation with your child. So and monitor them. Look, well, I would say observe them. You would see behavioral changes and so forth, because I mean, whether we want to, we would like this or not, cyberbullying has led to, you know, many young people world over committing suicide, being pushed to do that. And it's a case where before you left the bully in the schoolyard, now the bully follows you across platforms. You know, they follow you when you're in the bathroom, wherever your device is, they follow you.
Yes.
I know the ministry has a zero tolerance for bullying. Our Electronic Crimes Act, though it does
Definitely.
not specifically call out cyberbullying, but, you know, harassment, and so these things fall under the criminal, you know, part of all our laws and so on. I think we need to address that within the Electronic Crimes Act. I should see cyberbullying there
As part of it,
as part of it.
And let us not feel that is only happening overseas.
No.
It's happening here. I mean, when I see some of the comments people write about other people online, I mean, that could be considered
Yeah.
cyberbullying. I mean, you don't treat people like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have, we all have dignity, no matter how we may think we are. Now, I always take this little analogy, like if I take a $20, either it fall in the drain or in the toilet or wherever, the value of that $20 is still $20. No matter what life throws
Yeah.
at us, we are still human beings. We still have worth. We still have value. And wherever we find ourselves, we should be treated that way. And that's the basis of it.
You know, something I think, you know, parents and the young ones who are looking in and who would look after need to be aware of is this. There are several companies, local companies now, that do a social media audit of their applicants, persons, you know, applying for jobs and so. And when they see these comments and so, I mean, do you really think they'll hire you as a bully? Not just that, even for your US visa, you're expected to give up your social handles. You don't want to say I'm not on Facebook and then they find you on Facebook. and then you wonder how come you did not get, even though the name is not yours, it's tug on whatever. You need to be aware of that, because sometimes, you know, the bullies look at how they are able to affect the one they're bullying, but not how their actions can really come back to bite them. All right.
But that's the nature. Physically, bullies are like that, and you find too that the persons who engage in that are also themselves have issues, you know, with that kind of thing.
But the thing is, parents, we cannot, you know, say that too many times. You need to communicate and look at what is going on with your children. I think you would know if, you know, they're coming off and they're a little sad. You'd see a change in their disposition. Definitely. You've been a parent for the last few months and teacher at the same time. Now I'm saying, hey, add counselor to it, because it's something we're supposed to be doing anyway.
Let's go back a little bit. There was a comment here from somebody says, "Good evening, Mr. Dabrio. Great program. Except to say that it is a challenge for parents to catch up with technology. I spent 5 hours today trying to open a document. Out of frustration, I called my nephew, and he solved the problem in 1 minute."
Good. No, I you know what? I like that it took 5 hours for the parent to fight to get it open, and then it was solved in a few minutes. It goes back to something we said earlier. While yes, I believe you should fight up with a little bit, don't be too big to ask for assistance. I get assistance from YouTube and from Google all the time. So, you know, and again, it's a learning process. What I will add here is this though. If you as the parent, you have the child come to help you with something, they're supposed to be helping you. You have to be present. You know, if I'm teaching a child to cook, I can't be sitting on the couch while the child is in the kitchen. So if you want them to help you, I hope that that parent stayed there and watched what was done. So the next time a similar situation presents itself, they're able to handle themselves.
All right. Now, this, as we said, this is Rebel Nation, and we're having the conversation on cyber parenting with Jarvis Dabrio and the Lions Club of St. John's. This program is 1 hour and 30 minutes. We're closely coming to an end to it. It's 8:44 p.m. tonight, and we're going to go to end at 9. Right. We have still a few things to talk about, but I just want to mention that a few persons online want to congratulate you for your words tonight, and some very important words that you would have uttered to our parents and to the community, as well as they want to big up the Lions Club of St. John's for the efforts that we are making to create a safer community. I want to stick a pin here and again talk about St. Vincent, because we want to send a call out to get your support. The Lions Club of St. John's, together with all Lions in Grenada, are on a drive to send stuff to St. Vincent for the people there. As was mentioned earlier on, Lion Virginia, you want to tell us about our drive so far?
Okay, so again, as Lion David mentioned, the Leos and Lions of Grenada, we are coming together to bring relief to our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. So if you wish to donate water, sleeping mats, mattresses, generators, or you want to donate towards the purchasing of these items, folding cots, hygiene kits, buckets, and any other items that you think they will need at this point in time, just reach out to any one of us from the Lions Club of St. John or Lions Club of St. George's, St. Andrews, the Leo clubs, and we'll surely be glad to accept your donation and send it to assist our brothers and sisters who are in need at this point in time.
Just with regards to the water, we have just started to purchase water from the club side. We approximately 80 cases of water coming from St. John's Lions Club.
Yes.
Tomorrow we'll be purchasing that, going directly to the port, and we'll be leaving Grenada on Friday. Now, if there are other persons out there who would like to join us, maybe we can bring that 80 to 100.
Or
right?
to 200.
To 200. You can call us and we are willing to do that. Gloria Bonaparte is a focal point person for that drive. I will give you her number online in a while. So while my president get the number for me, you can call her and say, look, I would like to send some bottles of water to St. Vincent through the Lions Club of St. John's or the Lions Club of Grenada. So our number is 449-1231. 449-1231. You can call Gloria Bonaparte or any person from the Lions Club of St. John's. Right? Oh, someone say the 200 target is good. So we're going for 200 cases of water from the Lions Club of St. John's by tomorrow midday, because we have to get that done by midday. Can you call and give us, we have 80 cases so far, approximately 80. If we can get 200 cases from St. John's, that would be great. Then we move into the second phase of our drive, which is cleaning items, bleach, soap, as well as teen food items. And our third phase would be our children care packages that we're going to put together for the children of St. Vincent. So come on out. Let's try and support the various drives from the Lions Club of St. John's as we work together to help our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent.
And if you are online on Facebook, you can just give your commitment to donate the cases of water. We will take note and we will get in contact with you, right? So let us try to get to the target of 200 cases of water before the end of the program.
Oh, awesome. I like this line, Virginia. Can we get 200 cases of water before we leave here tonight? We have 15 minutes, right? A little under 15 minutes, right? If we can get 200 cases of water. We need 120 cases. We have 80 so far. Anybody giving us 5 or 10 or 6, whatever you can give, just message us and we'll be grateful for that. While we get your commitment of the water towards our St. Vincent Drive, I want to go back to Jarvis Dabro. And one of the things Jarvis has been doing is helping persons throughout Grenada to figure out, when I get some information, whether it is facts or not.
Yeah.
Is it authentic or is it not authentic? And I think you have been doing a great job on that. And I think it's an unbiased task you've been doing, because I've seen some things that really attack some people, certain groups of people, and then you check those out and you realize, no, that's really not true. Right. So tell us.
So let me add this here, because I really think we should get that 200 cases of water to the Lions Club. So hey, there are people. I saw a guy in St. George's with a box collecting money. It said something about St. Vincent. I don't know the guy. I don't know who he's collecting on behalf, but I do know that this is the real Lions Club, and I do know that if you make your donation to the club, the donation is going to go to help people. So that right there is fact checking. You know, you ensure that the information you're engaging with, it comes from a source that is reputable, one that you can corroborate, and in that case we can check you are Lions, you know. That's
just simply like that.
Just like that.
Oh,
just like that. I don't know who the guy is. I'm not giving my money, but I know that you guys represent Lions Club. I know the Lions Club over the years have been doing great things and have been supporting. And it's the same thing. When the information comes from a site you've never heard of, you need to be suspicious about it. When you see a site that you've never heard of offering you Snickers at $1 for one, you need to be suspicious. You know, stick to the people you know, stick to the sources that are reputable and so forth. Understand some of them do have biases, but at the same time, you can trust them a little bit more than. One of the tools I use is NewsGuard. So I do use NewsGuard. It helped me check the veracity of some of the websites and the content that they put out there.
You know, I'm happy that you mentioned that, you know, cross-checking the sites and whether it's authentic or not. Because following your postings on Facebook, privacy and authentication and hacking, you know, I myself, many members from the Lions Club receive emails and they used goodly, they did cross-check. Virginia, did you send me this email And it was at least for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A new lion every day received an email from me that was not sent from me. So when I did, it was someone using my name.
Okay.
But when you really check the email, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Right? Offering money and gift certificates
Yeah.
on my behalf. Right? So that was one. And then two, over the past week or two, I'm seeing persons sharing a link of gift certificates from Amazon or all
Yeah.
these things. I looked at them, I just shake my head, I say, okay, this is a scam, and I ignore. But how can persons, prevent the sharing? Because there might be someone else who may not have that knowledge and may just fall victim and be tempted to
Yeah.
get a gift certificate from Amazon and just click.
Okay, so let me make it real on this one, right? So we know we had $100 that you could pay for lunch for a whole month. That was a scam, local scam. We know that it's a scam. But some people in the early, they got their food and they went out and they told all their friends, they got their friends to sign up and so forth. Personally, I believe everybody who got anybody to sign up should pay them back their money. And I'm serious about that. So I take a similar approach when it comes to content sharing. I did not check the content. So if I share it and somebody click on it and they end up in a world of problems, I am responsible. Do I want to be responsible for that person, their account being hacked, they losing access to the computers and so forth? And if the answer is no, then don't share it. Unless you verified it, don't share it. Because if we look at it from a religious standpoint, the devil did not lie 100% to Eve. All right, but it worked because what he said was mixed in properly with truth. And it's the same thing. The stories, a believable story must have elements of truth in it. Two elements it must have. One, it must have elements of truth, and two, it should be able to access your personal bias.
Okay.
If it's able to do those two things, then it can get you to send it further on and to engage with it in a way you should not.
Okay. So the concept of phishing came out, not fishing on the day, right?
No, well, Greg handled that.
Yeah,
I
handled that
just
last
did
week,
the
yeah.
fact-checking
Yeah,
part.
great. Yeah, but I think you've been doing a great job with regards to the fact-checking, and thank you for authenticating the Lions Club of St. John's. Thank you very much for that.
And
we're
give
very-
to the water.
Yes,
to
we need
Come on, we
200.
have 6 minutes,
Yeah,
and we
200.
want to get to the 200 mark.
Exactly.
So please contribute, donate, give your commitment online.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want to big up Rebel Nation, right? We're not asking them for water, really, but if you want to give, you can give. But also, we want to talk about if anybody message you, you can send us the message letting us know that they would give that kind of thing, right?
What if I can't give a case?
You can contribute to part of a case.
Right.
Yeah, you can
right.
give.
Good.
Actually,
So the person just got that excuse. Just got
Stressed.
Yeah.
The thing about it too is that the cost is $20, right?
Yes.
For a case.
For a
The
case.
the company that we're using is $20. I'm not going to say the company.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you buy the water too and you want to drop it at Land Gloria's house, or any one of us, we are willing to do that as well. We have 5 minutes. There are quite a number of things coming up on our Facebook chat. One person is saying additional people, authenticity on the various social media platform like pedophiles, etc. One say what if I share for the purpose of highlighting the scam and someone fall victim?
Clearly mark it as being scam. One of the things I called out a friend of mine over the weekend on is he got a friend request from a scammer and he actually accepted it. And by doing that, the scammer got access to his friends list. And I got a request from the scammer. And that is how I was able to backtrack to see exactly, well, how did this happen?
Okay.
So you may not see the danger in it, but understand the scammers, they have an end game. And you liking, you friending them, you're exposing not just your information, but your friends to the threat as well. So you need to be careful.
Actually, I have a friend who actually contacted one of the scammers,
And
call them on the
well, I've been doing
US number.
I've been
And-
doing that. It's called scam baiting.
Exactly.
But for the and I'm speaking specifically now to the young men. A lot of the scammers, they are pretty young ladies. Listen,
interesting.
Greg mentioned social engineering when he was here. Listen, a big hardback man send you a young man a friend request saying whatever. You chances are you would not engage with it as easy as if it is a big hardback man with a nice pretty girl picture. So just be careful. Don't go friending and accepting every request you get.
But that person say you can screenshot and share.
Yes, but ensure that you mark it as being a scam or suspicious.
Okay.
And you can always join the fact-checking group, you know. join my fact-checking group.
Someone is giving us an idea. They said, why not give Rooney J the box to go collect contributions and go off tomorrow?
Give who, me?
Rooney J.
Oh.
Rooney J. Rooney J, right? Maybe the DJ could play Rooney J afterwards, and say water for the Lions Club of St. John's. So we are going to it's 8:57. We have 3 more minutes to end our program tonight. I want to first ask Lion Virginia to once again share on our outreach to the people in St. Vincent, and then we will take some final comments both from Jarvis and myself as we move on.
Okay, so again, we are trying to reach the target of 200 cases of water so that we can send to the people of St. Vincent on Friday. So please join our cause. Don't forget, call us, message us on Facebook, call Lion Gloria Bonaparte or Lion David Hopkins, myself, or any other member of the Lions Club of St. John, and we will be happy to receive your donation and send it on your behalf. If you cannot purchase the case of water, but you can contribute toward purchasing 1 case, then again that donation will be accepted and we will just put the rest. Okay, so please make your commitment. Right, so right now we've just received word that we get in 6 cases of water from Rebel Nation. So thank you, Rebel Nation. Now we are at 86 cases of water. Oh, Mr. Killer, right, on behalf of Rebel Nation. So we are getting 6 cases from Mr. Killer, right? So we are at 86. Please let us get to the 200 mark. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Lion Virginia. And last night at our meeting, we met with the Lions contact in St. Vincent,
Yes.
who gave us an idea of what it's like there in St. Vincent at present and what is most needed. And I really thank Jarvis for authenticating our club because serious, it's serious because we have Lions Club is all over the world.
Yes.
And we are connected, right? And when we are in need, we know definitely that we're going to get support from them in St. Vincent. So we have a contact there, and he's going to work with us to make sure that everybody receives something, right? And we're working together in Grenada with all the other clubs in Grenada. We're working together. No.
So let me just call out the couple persons who I know actually looking on from London right now. I know it's late there. Please do send your contributions so we can get that 200 cases of water for the Lions Club of St. John. You can send me the money; they'll get it. That's for the people who I know are on right now from London.
Okay, so we have 5 cases from Shonika. Shonika Peters, 5 cases. So that's, wow, we're doing well. And we're getting 200 from London.
Well, yeah. Well, I just called them out. I know they're on there because I check, and I think they're on there. So
Okay,
you know. Hopefully they might cost me after, but you know.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Actually, the person put on 200 easy tomorrow. Maybe. Okay, so you can send the money to Jarvis, and we're going to buy the water. So, guys, listeners, viewers, wherever you are, it was an awesome experience this afternoon.
Yes, it was.
We had fun doing this.
Oh, yes.
Right, Jarvis, tell us what's your final word for us tonight?
Parent your children. Be responsible. You know, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. And the young ones who are on, understand parents have a right to ensure that you're protected, strike that balance, self-regulate. Let's keep our children safe.
Wonderful, wonderful. And this has been Rebel Nation with the Lions Club of St. John's. Where there's a need, there is a lion. It's a great thing to be a lion, and we've been happy to be with you this evening, sharing on the cyber issues and our parenting. And we have ensure that you have a great evening, and God bless everybody. Good night.
Oh Lord, you know I'm not perfect, but oh God, I try. Sometimes I'm strong and fiery, Lord, but sometimes I cry.